All right, what is up? We are live. I got a poll question up with Harrison's Burton's win. A sub 30 in points driver. Do you think NASCAR changes the playoffs next season? Yes, no, or NASCAR has a playoff system? Didn't know. So there you go. That is the poll question. A few items to get to before we jump into the chat here. The Austin Dillon appeal that I haven't, I guess, covered in a video yet. The Austin Dillon appeal has come to a final decision, and that decision is that Austin Dillon will not be in the playoffs. I don't think anybody was surprised. Obviously, in this situation, it's a $2 million pay gap from the points position he's in now to where he would be, even if he finished last place in the points over there. So there is that aspect of it. That, and also it was your chance to get into the playoffs. So you got to understand why RCR made the attempt. Obviously, precedent doesn't matter because NASCAR said they're drawing a new line in the sand here. They're setting a new precedent, however you want to look at it. So what more can I say about it that I have than what I have maybe already said? I guess I'm glad he put NASCAR to a decision. I'm glad he put NASCAR to a decision. So now we know exactly how far you need to go and how far you can go. And apparently the right hook is the issue. Because if you remember when Steve Phelps went on Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast, he said the right hook is what crossed the line. So now we know for sure exactly where the line was crossed because they keep talking about this imaginary line that was crossed. The right hook is the line that was crossed. So you can't right hook somebody to win a race now. We know that, but they still keep talking about you'll know when you cross the line. I don't think the drivers will know when they cross the line. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I'm glad Steve Phelps did clarify that it was the right hook. Now, going forward, I would like to see NASCAR make a rule about the right hook where it's a consistent penalty. I think that would be most helpful to the sport. I've mentioned just make sure the front tires are in front of the B post and it's not a right hook. If the front tires are behind the B post, it is a right hook, and then a consistent penalty for it from here on out. They could just use the penalty they just did here. You lose all of that race's finishing points position, but I guess you can still keep wherever you finish. You just lose all the points for it and things like that. And then we've seen in the past that you get suspended for a race. They didn't suspend Austin Dillon, but other drivers they have. So I think suspending a driver for a race would also be a good thing to do there. So, however they would go about navigating that, I would like a solid rule in the rule book and eliminate some of these judgment calls. So, I think that would be part of it. And that being said, I don't think anything's changed because they haven't made a solid rule about it in the rule book. I think you're still going to see drivers wreck for the win just because of everything that is up for grabs. I think you'll still see drivers wreck for the win. I think it'll still be a judgment call. And that's why I said I want a solid rule in the rule book, because when it goes to judgment calls, as soon as something like this happens again, the fans that are upset about it and the fans that are happy that their driver did well are going to go to this Austin Dillon judgment or another judgment and be like, hey, my guy got wrecked. Y'all took away Austin Dillon's points. How come you're not taking away this guy's points? So I don't think anything's really changed as far as that goes, other than people know that they can't right hook for a win now. So I think it's still murky, and that's why I say I would like a clear written rule. But NASCAR likes to make judgment calls, so that's how they wrote the rules. If you read the rule, it's pretty murky in its own right. So that's finally behind us. We don't have to talk about that again until somebody else wrecks somebody for a win. So there you go. I don't think anything's really changed though, other than you know exactly what you can't do in one aspect. NASCAR is going to Mexico City on Father's Day. That was released today. I think this is going to be a great move for the sport. Bozy Tatarvik tweeted out that NASCAR goes to all these other tracks and, California, Las Vegas, all these other tracks that are actually farther away than Mexico City. So the people that are like, it's too far to travel, he kind of shut that down. So that was interesting. An interesting tweet from him. I thought that was pretty good. And this isn't the first time NASCAR has gone to Mexico City. They went there with the Nationwide or Busch Series or Xfinity, whatever it was, back in 2007 for the Telcel Motorola 200, where Juan Pablo Montoya won. If you guys remember that, the old Texaco Haviland 42, and he had a different sponsor. I think it was the front of it looked like the Texaco Haviland car. The back of it had a white color on it. and maybe a blue lettering sponsor. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember quite that far back, but I thought it was a pretty cool car, and pretty cool that JPM won his one and only Xfinity Series, Nationwide Series, Busch Series win. So yeah, a lot of people speculating that Richmond is maybe losing a date. I haven't seen anything, I guess, super official on that yet. And a lot of people are upset that Rockingham didn't get the dates. But if you listen to Door Bumper Clear, Freddie Kraft, I think it was Door Bumper Clear, and I think it was Freddie Kraft. I think he's already leaked that Rockingham is getting a truck and Xfinity Series date. So don't worry, Rockingham fans, you are still probably going to get your date, even though it's not a Cup Series date. So I think that was that. And then what's the other one here? Zane Smith, Ford, apparently cannot come to terms because Ford did not like the way that Zane Smith left. Kevin Harvick talked about that on his podcast, where he said, I guess the young guys have to learn the hard way. Some of the young guys have to learn the hard way, which I thought was an interesting comment. So let me come back to that in just a minute. But Zane Smith apparently can't go to front row, according to Kevin Harvick. I haven't seen this anywhere else, just Kevin Harvick talking about it. So we'll see what comes to fruition there. I guess he disrespected, and this is plausible because you remember Ford got super upset that Chase Briscoe was wearing a Toyota Polo when he made the announcement that he was going over to Joe Gibbs. So this does track that maybe Ford isn't necessarily happy about this. So that 100% tracks, but it's really, really petty, man. Like, Zane Smith's a pretty good driver. He's showing that he's a really good driver right now. Trackhouse kind of left him hanging here by basically a lot of people, I guess, think that they picked Shane Van Gisbergen over him, but I think they're picking Connor Zilisch over him. I think that's the real pick. I don't think it was between Zane Smith and Shane Van Gisbergen. I think it was between Connor Zilisch and Zane Smith, and they went with Connor Zilisch instead of Zane Smith. So they can spin it however they want to. That's the move, I think, that actually happened. So anyway, he's left hanging in the wind. A lot of people were speculating he was going to go to front row, myself included, because it just makes sense that he would go there. And apparently front row probably wants him too, but apparently Ford, according to Kevin Harvick, is holding up that deal. And like I said, Kevin Harvick said, I guess some of these young guys have to learn the hard way. Well, I clearly remember Kevin Harvick maybe a month ago, maybe not even that long ago, talking about he wanted to get rid of the General Motors sponsorship because of the pressure he felt for filling in for Dale Earnhardt. Talked about the conversation he had with one of the executives, and the executive said, maybe you're not the Goodwrench man, and Kevin Harvick said, maybe I'm not. So Kevin Harvick himself has had issues with sponsors in the past as well. Not only that, but when Shell Pennzoil left the 29, Kevin Harvick was like, good, I don't have to wear this clown suit anymore, referring to the red and yellow colors on the Shell Pennzoil car. So Kevin Harvick himself, when he was younger, sort of bucked up at some of these sponsors as well. So I thought it was pretty funny that Kevin Harvick made the comment that I guess some of these young guys have to learn the hard way. Maybe he learned the hard way. Maybe that's what he was talking about. But when he said that, I was like, that's pretty funny, because I remember I'm old enough to remember a young and old Kevin Harvick. The evolution of the 29 to the 4 was quite the evolution. To be totally honest, great career. Great race car driver. One of my favorites for sure. So it sort of sounded like Max Headroom right there. Max Headroom. So yeah, poll question is up in case you're just joining us. With Harrison Burton's win, a sub 30 driver, do you think NASCAR changes the playoffs for next season? Yes, no, or NASCAR has a playoff system? So those are the options. And my thoughts on that particular poll question are this. I can see it both ways. NASCAR, more than anything else, likes to control things. They love control. So I could see this as a situation where they're looking at Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, and possibly Chris Buescher, who are pretty big names, pretty big superstars at this point in the Cup Series. They're looking at them being pushed out for a guy that is not necessarily a superstar, and almost had two of them if it wasn't for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I reckon, there at the end of Richmond. So you almost had two or three drivers miss this for drivers that are not as well known or not as big a superstar. So NASCAR, if they're looking at it from that perspective, I can see them bringing back something like you got to be top 25 in points or something like that. So that would be a change to the point system, I think, that you could possibly see. On the other end of it, NASCAR might not change it at all because maybe NASCAR likes the chaos of this. Maybe NASCAR likes all the attention, all the media that they've gotten here recently. So it just depends on how you look at it from a NASCAR perspective as to what they would do. So I can make the argument either way and could totally see it, yes or no, or or maybe you just don't. Maybe you just now are learning that NASCAR has a playoff system. So there you go, 14%. Just learning NASCAR has a playoff system. All right, that's my spiel. Let's jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. What's up, Nathan? HB, I got him a ride, I think, says Nathan. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't seen that yet, so I have to go check that one out. Zane Smith got hosed by Trackhouse. I really do feel bad for him. Ford is getting petty. What a joke. I hope he can find a good ride. Yeah, for sure. I do think he will get a ride. I really want to see if that front row thing has any legs to it, or maybe there could be a situation where front row is using that as a negotiation tactic or something like that too, or Ford's using that as a negotiation tactic. You never know with these things. Sometimes things get said, but there's an ulterior motive behind why they're said. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I can't wait to see Larson, Elliott, and Reddick for the real championship this weekend. So yeah, we got the Darlington is the cutoff race before the playoffs. So who will be the regular season series champion? Can Kyle Larson make up the deficit? Can Chase Elliott make up the deficit? That'll be an interesting thing to watch. What's up, Lanes? What's up, Jamie Schweitzer? B, will Harrison Burton make it to the Final Four, says OJ and Toothpaste. You know what? It's been a pretty wild season. I would say statistically it's less than 1%, but even 1%. So you're saying there's a chance. So there is a chance. Ryan Blaney has the second 2025 diecast with Body Armor Zero Sugar. It is covered up in the photo. Okay. So the 2025 diecast, the second one is going to be YRB, young Ryan Blaney. So Lionel has sort of leaked the next diecast. The interesting thing was the first one was a Chevrolet team. So Chevrolet will be running the Camaro, obviously, next season, because obviously Lionel wouldn't have time to make a new body. So all the people that were wondering, which pretty much you knew, because you got to have a process. There's a certain process that takes X amount of time. But yeah, there were some people that were like, what's Chevrolet going to run next season? Next season, it will be the Camaro again. If Lionel already has, I don't know why I keep calling it Lionel. I think that's funny. But anyway, already has the other Chevrolet. I think Ross was the first one. Let's see. They need to get rid of winning you're in. Should only take the top guys and move on, says PC Gone Rogue. I think a lot of people would like that. I think the original chase was really good. Like I said, I think Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus just ruined it for everybody, winning so much. They're sort of the opposite of the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls were a phenomenon, and them winning all the time was great. For whatever reason, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus winning all the time wasn't great. It made more people turn off than tune in. It's funny how dynasties go sometimes. Let's see. It would be great to see Harrison make the Final Four. It would be. Like I said, a very low percentage chance it happens. But man, would that ever shake up the playoffs? Do you think Harrison Burton is going to AM or Tricon? Oh, that's a good question. If I was Harrison Burton, I would go to Tricon over AM. Nothing against AM. They're just not quite established yet. And I think Harrison Burton's a good driver. He could win some races at Tricon. Winning races is more important than where you're at, in my opinion. So will Kyle Busch get the first waiver on the 2025 season with the race in Mexico, says Joseph Wooten. It's already been basically the Kyle Busch haters immediately asked that question. And it's already been announced that it will not be a problem. Ben Kennedy himself said it will not be a problem. They've worked it out with the Mexican officials. Kyle Busch will be able to race in that race. Sort of a Penske sweep. Will Power wins Portland and Burton wins Daytona, even though it's pretty much almost like a fourth Penske entry. Indeed. That is basically a Penske car over there with the 21. NASCAR theory, one hook is okay, but not two, says one wise guy. Well, that's not necessarily true, because Ross Chastain took out was Alex Bowman and AJ Allmendinger. So I guess it depends on how bad the right hook. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, until they clearly define the rule, you're still kind of like, yeah, I mean, I wrecked him, but am I going to get penalized? Like you're still sort of in this judgment zone for NASCAR. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to stop anybody from wrecking for the win. I'll say that. So that's why I don't really think anything's necessarily changed, to be totally honest. And some driver said that. Maybe it was Kyle Busch. Or maybe it was Dale Jr. Somebody said I don't think anything's changed either. I want to say it's Kyle Busch, but I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it. Between KB, Bubba, Truex, and Chastain, I predict Bubba would win at Darlington. I don't know. Kyle Busch is pretty good there. Truex is pretty good there. Bubba's pretty good there. I haven't seen Chastain. I might get bit by this, but off the top of my head, I can't remember Chastain running there really well yet, but I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. But those first three, I think, are all pretty good at Darlington, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I know Truex is good because he was running there for Chase Elliott for a win one year, and they both wrecked each other, and that gave the win to Kevin Harvick, and Austin Dillon finished second. And Austin Dillon was closing pretty fast. Austin Dillon was in that throwback car to Junior Johnson that race, if I remember correctly, the white and red three. So a right hook is illegal. What is a left hook? LOL, says Mark Barnum. Left hook not as serious because you don't get hurt as bad. You don't go driver's side first into the wall. So the left hooks are not as bad as the right hooks. Mark Barnum, Ben Kennedy said on Larry Mack and Daniel Trotta's show today, he confirmed that he was replacing Richmond. Okay, so I didn't see that part of it. So it is confirmed. One of the Richmond races is gone. So all right, so we know that for a fact now. Let's see. Just lost my spot. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Connor Zilich is coming for Suarez's ride in 2026. Watch, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah. 2026 is a long ways away. So right now it might be Suarez, but you never know. You never know how things play out. 1 year is a lot of time for things to change. So it is what it is. But yeah, he's definitely going to take somebody's seat over there at some point if he continues his progress. Have you heard anything on Alex Bowman possibly retiring because of health issues? Says Nathan Campbell. I haven't heard that yet. So I did find it. Well, he has just re-upped. He just re-upped a contract extension, so it won't be. If it is, he'll have a farewell tour next year. But yeah, he had basically, according to rumors, he had lost his ride to who did he lose his ride to? Justin Haley. But because he won in Chicago, he saved his ride. Let's see. Suarez only signed a 1 year deal because Zilich is going to replace him, says OJ and Toothpaste. Hey, BB, I'm a moron. Forgot the truck race was on Sunday. I'm a Riggs, and I know Scott and Lane. I did not see him win. I'm an idiot, says Roger Riggs. Hey, you're all good, brother. That's what replays are for. So you get to watch it all over again. But yeah, congratulations to Lane Riggs, South Boston, Orange County, Ace Speedway man, raced on the Cars Tour. Super good guy, super cool family. So congratulations to them, and always cool when you see somebody basically working for Craig, somebody we raced against, and stuff like that. So definitely really cool. Zane Smith should call colleague to see what's up with the 31. Says like dislike. Yeah, if he's got some funding. BB, do they clones on Earth 2 like Austin Dillon's on the track at the same time? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't know. I don't know if we've achieved cloning on Earth 2 yet. That is up for debate. Tony Stewart apparently was on Pat McAfee show today. He was on Pat McAfee. I didn't catch it, but it's pretty cool. Big weekend of college football starts Thursday night. Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. BB, your favorite emoji on Discord, says OJ and Toothpaste. Probably the Ty Gibbs cowboy emoji. Milton says, I guarantee that NASCAR changes their playoff system for a new media rights deal. Also, thank you for the response to my Twitter DM from earlier. No problem, my friend. Always good to have you on board. Let's see. What's up? When Larson tweeted a dancing man wearing a sombrero. Okay, so good. I forgot about that. Man, so much happened today. I did forget about that. So, hi, what's up? When Larson tweeted a dancing man wearing a sombrero while holding a case of Corona, what I remember was Corona was the last title sponsor of Xfinity race at Mexico City, says Chrome Diesel. Indeed. So, Kyle Larson tweeted out a meme, but he is excited to go to Mexico City. And some people didn't like it. Some people thought it was funny. And we'll leave it at that because it is what it is. Some people wanted sensitivity training again for it. Some people thought it was funny. So, such is life on the Twitter. BB, did you see Kyle Petty's hot take on Kyle Busch forgetting how to race at a super speedway? I did not see that, so I'll have to. I haven't seen anything from Kyle Petty this season, so I need to go brush up on him. Mark Barnum saying, "Good Lord, Sofia Vergara showing off talents on AGT tonight." I don't even know what that is. On Stack and Penny, I know who she is, but I don't know what the show is. On Stacking Pennies, they asked Harrison if he had another ride lined up, and he nodded his head. He talked like he's going back down to Xfinity to win. So that's cool. So maybe he's got a good Xfinity Series ride lined up. That'll be interesting. That may be where Harrison Burton's ends up at. I would say Xfinity would probably be his preferred place to go. BB, does Lionel have good quality lately? I'm not gonna bash them because I grew up with racing champions, so it's infinitely better than anything I had growing up. I don't know. I don't get into the. I don't know. I don't collect. I don't know. I'm not as picky as other people. As I guess is what I should say. In between the lanes, I saw KP's broadcast on Bush. Not sure I agree with him. What do you say? I don't know. I haven't. Somebody would have to put the quote because I haven't seen it yet, and obviously I can't. I could, but it would be a really boring podcast. I could pull it up and watch it until it gets to that point. But if somebody wants to drop the quote down there, so I don't know. I haven't seen the quote yet. The only reason Johnson and Canals were good at the OG Chase is because majority of the tracks were Johnson's favorite tracks. Yeah, I do remember like most of them were 1.5s or something like that. Been a long time ago, but yeah, I definitely need variety in the chase. That would definitely help. Congratulations, Wood Brothers 100 wins, says Delmer Kaufman. For sure, man. Like that's something that with all this talk of playoffs and all that, that's one thing I wish was getting a little bit more press than it's getting right now. The 100th win for the Wood Brothers is a huge deal, in my opinion. Haley has a voodoo car that she sticks pins in every weekend on that 15 car, says Mark Barnum. Kyle Petty forgot to race the last 10 years of his career, says OJ. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Is the Mexico course going to be exactly like the one back when the Nationwide Series went? I don't know if it's exactly the same. I know it's the exact same one that they run in F1. I did see somebody say that. And it is interesting that Richmond's losing a date, so a lot of people might rejoice over that, but then probably some of those same people, while rejoicing Richmond's gone, will also complain that a road course and also a race in Mexico is coming. So it's NASCAR, man. Anytime a story breaks, somebody's gonna find a way to get bent out of shape about it. McAnally and LaJoy, what do you think? Uh, it could be. You know who like since they haven't necessarily announced where he's going, what I think would be like the coolest thing is if he went and joined like Ryan Sieg Racing or something like, or what is it? Is it Ryan Sieg Racing? RS? Yeah. So if he joined Ryan Sieg's team, I think that would be like the coolest thing. So that would be pretty cool if he stays in the Ford camp. I don't know if he's got to deal with Ford still or not. I believe Darlington is one of Truex's home tracks, says Jamie Schweitzer. Indeed. All of the tracks are one of Truex's home track. All right, we got a super chat. Let me jump down here and see what that is. Can you please explain the yellow line rule at Daytona and why there was no penalty? Says M43 video. So the yellow line rule is you can't go below the yellow line to advance your position. So you can't go below it to advance your position. Harrison Burton went below it throwing a block, so he wasn't advancing his position. So that according to all the experts on Twitter, I should say, that's why he didn't get penalized for it. But yeah, you can't go below the yellow line to advance position. But because he was in the lead, he didn't advance his position. So that seems to be the going theory. The other going theory is that Kyle Busch forced him down there. But the counter to that theory would be that he was blocking, so Kyle Busch didn't force anything. Kyle Busch just ran into him because he was blocking. So that theory, I guess, wouldn't track. But the fact that he didn't advance his position, that theory would hold true. So those are the two big theories on it. So yeah, that's the yellow line rule. Ross was leading when him and Larson both wrecked on the green whites. Ross also won the truck race there in May. Okay, so Ross is good there. So I would say, going back to that question, you told me to pick one and I didn't pick one, so I apologize. I would pick Martin Truex out of that group. I think Martin Truex would be most likely to win out of that group. I think he's the better driver at Darlington there. Let's see. Busher is going to win Darlington, says Wicked Mana. There's a good chance. There's a good chance. Fords, I feel like the Fords and Toyotas are fast. Like if it wasn't for Hendrick, Chevrolet would be in deep crap this year, to be totally honest. So I think the Fords and the Toyotas are gonna show up in the playoffs when it matters, and it's basically playoff time right now. So we'll have to see what happens going forward. Ron Russell, I mean, what are you supposed to do in the moment? Says in between the lanes. I see Toyota helping Bubba get in. Says Nathan Campbell. Oh, no doubt. Like they'll do whatever they've got to do to get one of their cars that aren't into the plate. Like that would be any manufacturer in this particular predicament. I imagine that Chevrolet is going to do everything they can do to get Ross Chastain in there for sure. So I think situations like this, those guys' playoffs started last week and today. So yeah, I think all the manufacturers are doing that. And who's Chris Buescher? Ford will do everything they can do to help him too. exactly the 2020 hindsighting comment, says Ron Russell. Sonoma is, I guess we're still talking about Kyle Petty. So, yeah, I don't know anything that Kyle Busch could have done any differently because he didn't know that the bottom line wasn't going to get organized and go. So, yeah, I mean, if you're nitpicking it, I guess you can nitpick it there. Or was he saying he needed to wreck him to win? Like that would have caught hell because that would be like 2 out of 3 weekends an RCR car wrecks to win. So I don't know that was necessarily the answer either. So I don't know. I don't know what Kyle Petty was talking about, but I also haven't seen his quote. I'm just going off of the information you guys have given me. So I want to be fair about that. Sonoma is Truex's home track too, says OJ and Toothpaste. Indeed, every track is Martin Truex Jr.'s home track. How do you separate your shoulder while celebrating a truck win? I don't know, man. If you've ever been in a race suit, they sort of restrict your movement if they're not cut right. So I don't know. I don't know. But he was a grown man about it because he popped that rascal right back in and went right back to celebrating. So he gets the TG, the tough guy award for that. So he popped that thing right in and kept celebrating. I've seen some people get those and then they pop them back in and I guess popping it back in hurt him more than anything else. So he got lucky with that one, popped it back in, but it definitely a moment of being tough right there. He popped it right back in and started celebrating again. Adrenaline probably had a lot to do with that, I would imagine as well. One wise guy saying facts, OJ. It sucks that Truex still won't be driving when they run his home track of Mexico City next year. Oh, good one, Jamie Schweitzer. For whatever reason, I saw Truex, but in my mind, I was like Suarez. I was like, Suarez is running Mexico. But yeah, Truex not running his. You don't know though. He's making some one-off starts, so maybe he does go down there to Mexico City and do a one-off race. Maybe there's something in Mexico City he wants to go hunting. We don't know. He's a big hunter, big fisherman. Maybe he makes that trip, does the race, and gets some hunting in. We don't know. He does say he's basically got Daytona figured out, so we will see him at Daytona, according to some things that he's already said. I'm a huge Ross fan, but he's only signed till the end of next year. Him missing the playoffs won't help, but I think they know they don't have the car. Not a big difference in the 1 and the 99, like a 2311 car, says Dirty Death. NASCAR has a playoff system, says Shaw. Circus style playoff or raffle style. Depends on the day. Depends on the day, Shaw. Is Matty D finalized with Viking yet? I don't know. I don't know if he's signed on for next year or not. I haven't heard. If I have heard anything, I've forgotten about it. I think there's a bot on here. It says Roger Riggs. Ron Russell Burton was also lucky he didn't get wrecked by Bush at the same time, you could say, since he was aggressively blocking. Indeed, he held it. Like he shot down there on that final block, and he's lucky. Like it took some skill to hold that thing. So he held it. So a lot of plate racing or super speedway racing is luck, but there is skill to it, and he held the thing straight. So you got to give him a little bit of credit there. I'm sick of hearing about the 21 doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs, or NASCAR needs to change the format. Total BS. Every driver hasn't won a race, has a damn many chances to win, says Stevie Ray. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't think he doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this shows how ridiculous the playoff system is to begin with, which I've railed against since the beginning of time. So I do think NASCAR will change it going forward because NASCAR likes to control whether. I don't think they ever thought somebody below 30th would win a race. But now that it's happened, I think you will see them bring a rule where you got to be top 25 or top 20 in points because they like to control the playoffs because they want their biggest stars in the playoffs. And I don't think they ever in their minds thought that, oh man, somebody in 30th place will knock out a superstar out of the playoffs. So I think there is a chance that they change it, but not change it significantly. They'll just reinstitute a rule that at one time they also already had, which is top 30. And I think they'll probably make it top 25 or something like that. Kyle Petty was on Fast Talk this week with the PRN YouTube channel. Okay, so PRN YouTube, I'll have to go check that one out. Years ago, when I went to the Southern 500, we had to get in line Friday night to get into the infield for the weekend for a good corner. Anyone got some good updates for this weekend? Says Aaron Flynn. I know they got something going on starting on Wednesday. Wednesday, they've got... I think you can make laps at the track. Then they've got, or Tuesday, you can make laps at the track. And then they've got a 5K. Like they've got something going on basically ever since Tuesday. And then they'll have racing across the road at Mannheim for the youth divisions and stuff like that. So Any day you go down there, there will be something going on at Darlington. Let's see, team manager BB. Do you know when I'm a guest picker on a college game day? I don't know. We'll have to try to figure out something. I'll give old Pat Mack a call on the phone and see if we can get something going there. Everyone knew the rules at the beginning of the year. They don't. Uh, let's see. Everyone knew the rules at the beginning of the year. They won, and that's that. The 1, the 17, the 23, in my opinion, are the ones that probably need to be in the playoffs. Total BS. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, and that's what I'm saying. This is more winning you're in. The system is more of a meritocracy, is more of a opportunistic system, whereas the people that want whatever whoever you pick there to be in the playoffs, they're more concerned about a meritocracy system. I don't have a ton of sympathy because some of those same people were like, "Oh, I love the playoffs," and now all of a sudden it's an issue. So, yeah, if you're a fan of that driver and all of a sudden the playoffs are an issue because of this, yeah, I don't have any sympathy for you because I've been beating this drum for a long time that a meritocracy system makes way more sense. Like I said, the chase made way more sense than the playoff system. But to your point, that's what I'm saying. Harrison Burton 100% deserves to be in the playoffs because he won and everybody knew the rules at the beginning of the season. I do agree with you 100% there. But I do think there is a chance that it will get changed next season because, like I said, NASCAR likes to control the narrative, and they like to get as many of their superstar drivers in as they can. Nothing against Harrison Burton. He's just not on that same superstar level as a Ross Chastain, a Chris Buescher, or a Bubba Wallace. And that's the way I think NASCAR could possibly look at it. Joe Logano is driving Deegan's car this weekend at Darlington. So we'll see what it's got. Maybe maybe they brought him in there to fix the car again. He can give them some setup information. If we're going to be spending money going to other countries, can we get full practice sessions back every week? Says Private Kate. I would love to see it. I don't know if they'll ever do it. Deegan owns a car. Wow, says Shaw. I guess owning a car is better than trying to drive one. Ben Kennedy said Mexico would be the same as the F1 track besides one turn that they've changed to go the exact opposite way. So whatever that means, says Dirty Def. Yeah, I don't know. So pretty similar to the F1 track, except they've changed one turn to go the opposite direction. So that is interesting. BB, do you think TRD was hiding something with the 11 car engine, or do you think it was a huge mistake? 50-50 could be either way. It's hard to say. I don't the reason I say it's 50-50. Normally I would say 100% they were trying to hide something, but a hopped up engine at Bristol, I don't think that really helps you at all. So I don't, especially because Bristol was a tire race. So I don't think they were trying to hop up an engine for Bristol. But that's why I think it could be 50-50. But maybe they did. So like I said, it could be. It's to me, it's 50-50. How about Eric Jones for the win this week? Eric Jones is always good there. Like he's definitely going to be the sleeper pick of I would say most people. Stevie Ray saying B Dub in this position every year. I damn sure don't feel sorry for him. That's for sure. The 21 played by the rules given to them. Everyone else, they played the game and won. And that's that, says Stevie Ray. Busher gets back at Reddick after the spring race at Darlington, says in between the lanes. That could be something that happens for sure. Rowdy Bush for the win. Trophy at the track too tough to tame, says Badlands Bandit. That would be the ultimate walk off to get into the playoffs for Kyle Busch. That would be some epic, like that would be like one of those highlights you always see whenever he decides to retire. They'll bring that one up if it happens. That would definitely be something to talk about for sure. Kadarius Toney finally got cut by the Chiefs today, says OJ and Toothpaste. Do we see any news come out of this weekend? Says Nathan Campbell. I mean, whoever wins is probably going to be a pretty big story, regardless. Whoever wins I think it'll be a ton of stories. I don't know if anybody wrecks anybody for the win or what. Darlington's put on some pretty good races here recently as well. Thoughts on all the backlash for Parker Retzlaff? People are just being salty because whatever reason they have some angle to it that they wanted a certain driver to win. Either they're Kyle Busch fans that are salty that he didn't help Kyle Busch, or they're Bubba Wallace fans that are salty that Bubba Wallace is now on the cut line, or Ross Chastain fans that are salty that Ross Chastain is now two back on the cut line. Like I think it's people with agendas that are angry at Parker Retzlaff. I thought he drove a good race. I think it's hard to blame him because he was just trying to win the race. Yeah, I thought it was great because it was two different manufacturers working together, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be worried about, I got to push this manufacturer. You should be going out there and getting the best run you can get for your car and your team. because that's racing. So I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it, but some people do, and I think the people that have a problem with it or sort of agenda driven because it probably hurt their driver playoff wise. Truex Jr. or for a win. Truex Jr. good driver. Coach says in between the lanes, no doubt about it. Lane has an ongoing injury, his shoulder. That's why it pops out. He said it does it on occasion. Says Ryan. Okay, so there you go. BB, who will get the last charter available? I think track not track house, but I think 2311 gets the next one. So they'll probably be picking up the next one. And I think that's going to be that. I think RFK, if they get a charter, it's probably going to be from JTG Doherty with the Kroger deal. That would be my guess on that one. That's why RFK probably hasn't come out and said anything just yet. Or maybe RFK swooped in there and gave a better price than 2311 did. I don't know. Have the manufacturer points tightened up yet? They look kind of the same. Ford's still in third. I think Chevrolet's got a slight lead, and I think Toyota is second still. Does the points leader get anything at the end of the actual season, even if they did not qualify for the playoffs? Well, I think they have a thing where if you win the regular season points, you're in the playoffs. I don't know. I need to look that one up. But yeah, they get 15 or 20 points. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's 15 or 20 bonus points when you get into the playoffs. Sadly, Brett Griffin was not on door bumper clear for Daytona. Says in between the lanes. Kyle, do you ever watch Colleague Nation? I have seen that channel. I haven't watched it yet, but I did see it pop up the other day. I didn't know it existed, so I have to check that one out. Should be no backlash for Parker Retzlaff. He's going to win, just like the rest of them if he ends up pushing a Ford. So what, says Ron Russell. I agree. I hate the playoffs no matter what kind of system they come up with. I won't agree with it, but I understand they will never get rid of it, says Escobar. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever get rid of it either because you got to have it to sell it to the second half TV partner or I guess in this case, the third half, the third the third trimester partner. The third partner. I don't know. Corey LaJoy will win this weekend, says OJ and Toothpaste. We need a more fair system, says Escobar. Austin Dillon openly exposed the ridiculousness of the current playoff structure. I agree. That's why I'll always be happy about that race right there. But then Harrison Burton said, "Hey, hold my beer, cuz y'all think the Austin Dillon win was bad? Hold my beer, cuz watch this." So super stoked that both of those things happened back to back. So I could point out how opportunistic the playoff system is, where we could make it a more merit-based playoff system if they wanted to. Whether NASCAR wants to do that or not in these in these coming up seasons is the question for NASCAR. But for the people saying Harrison Burton doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs, I disagree with that because he played by the rules. He didn't do anything outside of the rules. Like you can basically say or argue that Austin Dillon did, or you don't even have to argue it because NASCAR the penalty is upheld. So apparently Austin Dillon did when he wrecked to win there. BB or right hooked to win was what Steve Phelps said. BB, did you see your guy Scott Dixon at Portland on Sunday? Says in between the lanes. I didn't see any of the IndyCar race this weekend, unfortunately. One wise guy dropping the merch link. So if you want to visit the merch store, there is the merch link. Right now, we got a hat. If you buy a hat, you get a free t-shirt. Just put the t-shirt in the basket and it will be free when you check out. Discord. There's the Discord link as well. From One Wise Guy. So appreciate you there. Ken, you got it, says Ron Russell. The only chase format I will be okay with is the wild card format. Says Chrome Diesels. Okay, so just wild cards. They just pick drivers at random. Sheldon Williams. It makes no sense for TRD to purposely try to cheat for the car that is their most successful on the year. It's not like the 11 needed help, says Sheldon Williams. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. But like I said, whenever something like that happens, there is a 50-50 chance in this particular deal that they were trying to do something. But there's a good chance that they weren't trying to do anything because it was Bristol and a hopped up motor wouldn't help you at all, really at Bristol. Even Dale Jr. said that. So maybe it's better than 50 or 50-50 in this particular case because I don't think you'd be building a hopped up motor for Bristol. So I'd say it's probably lower than 50-50, but you never know. You never know. Teams are always trying something, and you've got to. It's racing. It's how the sport is. Everybody does a little something to try to gain an advantage. Some of them get caught, some of them don't. That's just racing. I never like when somebody gets caught cheating. I never get upset about it because it is what it is. They all freaking do it. Just some of them get caught. Retzlaff, if you didn't have something that's basically on the very edge of what you're doing, I'll take it back. Maybe Rick Ware Racing is the only team in NASCAR that doesn't cheat. Because if you don't have anything on that car that's not at least pushing the line somewhere, you're going to be running in the back of the pack. That's just the way racing's always been. Restless Spotter tells him on the radio after the race that people weren't happy with him not following orders. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, so I'd get a new spotter or some new team orders people. I don't know. I don't feel like Chevrolet has helped Parker Retzlaff in his career. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just don't feel like he's a Chevrolet factory driver. So I don't know. I don't know what team orders he was supposed to be following there. Uh, a LaJoy Smith Dillon win on Sunday would be great, but I actually hope KB gets one, says Ron Russell. Yeah, I think any of those guys winning would be great. Corey LaJoy got the Chili's car, so that thing's going to be really cool this weekend for sure. Colleague Nation is all right. Those guys seem okay, and they're huge Colleagues fans, says Dirty Duff. Who is leading the Rookie of the Year points, says James Weaver. That would be one Carson Hocevar. And he's stretched it out quite a bit because of the Josh Berry wreck, and he had a decent lead anyway, but I think he stretched it out some more with that Josh Berry wreck. NASCAR give them specs, put their logo on the nose. Says Brickyard Brickhead. Earth 2 NASCAR has a regular season manufacturer championship awarded too. Says Jamie Schweitzer. That would actually be pretty cool. In today's NASCAR system, Harrison deserves to be in the playoffs. Yeah, no doubt about that. BB, I know you're busy, but can you make an Earth 2 shirt or hat, please? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Believe it or not, we're already in the process of doing that. So I'll let you know when that happens because it's going to be a very short run. Because I don't think that one is going to move as good as other ones. But you've already seen the logo. It's the number 3 Earth toaster. So that's going to be the logo. So we've come up with the logo. I've already leaked it on the Discord. I'll try to find it again and leak it again. Hobby Tone, what's up, my man? The wild card format was top 10 quality for the chase, plus 2 wild card spots, says Chrome Diesel. I got you. I forgot about the 2 wild card spots. So yeah, that would be they could definitely bring that back. And whoever gets 13th, I feel like 13th place, you race for like $500,000 extra if you get 13th place to make the battle for 13th something people pay attention to. Earth 2 worst driver of the year is awarded to. So Earth 2, who would be the worst driver? Maybe Tyler Reddick because he's leading the points on Earth 1. So I guess right now Tyler Reddick would be leading the points on Earth 2 as worst driver since Earth 2's opposite world. I think Harrison Burton on end RFK because of his 4 times, says Nathan Campbell. If you're not cheating, you're not winning, says PC Gone Rogue. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, whenever a team gets caught cheating, I'm like, so what? They got caught. They'll pay their fine and move on. I'm about to go to that place in Mexico, says AMB. That's really cool, man. Like if I had it like that, I would definitely love to go to the Mexico race myself. I think a lot of people were also big mad about HB winning Daytona because it messed up the proposition apps. For sure. Some people are probably super happy about it though, because maybe some people took some flyers there. I wish I knew his odds before this race started because they had to be low, but I don't know. They never put like really, really long odds at Daytona because they know anything can happen. Do you think we get a repeat winner or an upset again this weekend, says one wise guy? Darlington typically crowns a lot of first-time winners, so I would lean toward a first-time winner. BB, the only car I'm pushing is a Toyota, says in between the lanes. Ain't no problem with that, my friend. Rowdy has one in the chamber with LaJoy's name on it. Is Darlington too soon? Says Sheldon Williams. So that's I see what you did there, Sheldon. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I made a joke in the Discord saying Kyle Busch he's not gonna bring it across the border. Once he gets across the border, he'll just pick one up there. So it's all kinds of jokes can be made about the Kyle Busch situation. Unfortunate situation, but it is what it is. Nobody got hurt, no harm, no foul, so everything's good, and he will be able to race in Mexico City. So that would be one of the most if he wasn't allowed, like if the government didn't allow him to come over there, would he get a waiver? Could you imagine the conversation around that? That would be so wild. But luckily, everybody has worked everything out, and he will be racing in Mexico City. The route to Mexico from North Carolina goes right through country in Mexico you wouldn't want to go through. Uh, won't they do things to the haulers? I imagine there will be NASCAR will probably be on top of that logistically, and they'll probably have that covered from a logistical standpoint. Let's see. Considered, I called the toaster template. Pretty sure that makes me obligated to get an Earth 2 shirt. Says say Kyle. Well, I don't want anybody to feel obligated to do anything, but we will make them available probably this winter. Brock Beard made a video about the playoffs after Dillon. He's right about the fact that NASCAR's vocal minority and media partners are grown accustomed to instant gratification. Yeah, 100%. I think this is all being driven. I think this is all being driven by TV and stuff like that because they haven't listened to the fans in like, in my opinion, in like a really really long time. They'll play things out like, oh, this is what the fans wanted, so we did this. But they for the longest time, I can't remember the last time they listened to the fans. Hobby Stone, maybe bringing back Wilkesboro, but that was more of a Dale Jr. initiative. Dead End Viper, nothing left to steal, says Hobby Tone. Somebody 30 and back in the points is going to win this weekend. I would be okay with that. That would be pretty cool. I don't care for Bubs, but I will admit when things are wrong and possibly have him bumped out because the last full-time drivers win a fluke plate race is where pure luck to win them. So yeah, it's definitely whenever you're the last man on the cut line and somebody gets a fluke win at Daytona, like what was the last one? Maybe Austin Dillon a few years ago when they had the rain race where they like half the field wrecked out because of the rain. I think that was the last time it happened. John Hunter Nemechek may be a sleeper with the win at Darlington, says Ken. Indeed. Let's see. Brad K sweeps Darlington. That could possibly happen for sure. RFK is pretty fast there. And like I said, don't sleep on Chris Buescher. What would be interesting is if Chris Buescher was out of the playoffs and running in second, like something crazy had happened with stage points or something, and Brad K was running first, would Brad K back off to let the 17 pass him so that he could get into the playoffs? Like that could get crazy. Like that could get into race manipulation territory. That could be a crazy situation to watch for. So I don't know. It would take a lot of things for that to happen, but I don't know. All kinds of storylines because the playoffs are far from decided just yet, at least the cut line. John Hunter Nemechek may be a sleeper for the win at Darlington. Indeed, Ken. He might be. You never know. If you start a race last or finish first or finish last, NASCAR should award 10 bonus points and bring back leading the most laps to get for that. Hi, everyone. I'm new on here. What's up, James Weaver? Glad to have you on. Boy, I hope Josh Berry wins this week. Now would make things really interesting. I think he finished third there in the spring. I think Gibbs picked the wrong driver. Berry almost won Daytona, says Stevie Ray. Yeah, Chase Briscoe was the hottest driver on the free agent market, but I thought all the drivers over there who were Haas racing all ran pretty much the exact same, except for Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece has had a terrible, terrible year, but I don't think Ryan Preece is a bad driver. I just think there's something going on with that 41 car. That's just my thoughts on it. Points at the spring race, and nothing against Briscoe. I'm just saying they all, I think, have pretty much very similar performance. Points at the spring race at Darlington: Bubba 33, Ross 27, and Chris Buescher 15. Remember, Buescher had that wreck with Reddick in the closing laps. Indeed, Josh Berry wreck was crazy. Indeed, going up on your roof is always wild. One wise guy saying what's up to James and welcome him, the newcomer as well. Let's see. Aaron Flynn, what's up, my man? NASCAR, listen to the people with money. That's not the fans, says PC Gone Rogue. Yeah, indeed. You racing at A-Cine this year, says Viper. I am not scheduled for anything, but if I can get my car together and get some money to pay for tires and stuff like that, I will try to race at Ace this year. Been a frustrating year on the late model side, to say the least, and we'll leave it at that. Would you ever make a video of racing those diecast haulers in the background on a homemade track, says Sir Wood Rooster? Well, the stop motion community indeed has a lot of those great channels out there. So I don't know necessarily I need to be one of them. That's a whole different skill set. But maybe one day if I get some free time, I can figure something out. I'm working on a halfway home housing project. Supposed to be for people to be sober. The manager got fired and everyone's drinking at 7 a.m. when I pull up. It's free range for everyone. Ridiculous, says OJ and Toothpaste. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. Hopefully hopefully all those people get straight at some point. Never give up on them, but they're not good, not good situation. James Weaver saying, "What's up, the wise guy?" I meant to say if you start first or last and finish first, 10 bonus points. I got you. So if you start shotgun on the field, you get bonus points for winning the race. Indeed. Doing the electrical there for a state job remodel, says OJ and toothpaste. What's the craziest NASCAR rumor you've heard that ended up being true? Stuart Haas Racing going out of business or quitting or whatever. So if the 43 could win, this is the most recent one. So if the 43 could win a race this year with the 21 already winning, it would be just like the 70s. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Only way Legacy will be a contender is if they get help from Gibbs and Legacy doesn't want to pay for it. Yeah, Legacy's trying to do their own thing. They're trying to just be opposite of Gibbs because they're just trying to be in a situation where they're not running the same stuff as Gibbs because they think that they can eventually. They're doing a long play. They think eventually that they can have enough technology to run better than Gibbs, and people will be asking them for help. That's their ultimate goal over there at Legacy. Whether or not they achieve it, we don't know. Let's see. Zane Smith to the 60 car next year for RFK would be cool. Yeah, that would be a reason for RFK to bring back the old Xfinity team. I'm not excited about Briscoe getting in the 19, says one wise guy. Busher built like a lineman, says in between the lanes. And Ryan Priest, he's a pretty big boy too. Maybe he's a defensive end. He's got more of a defensive end type of build. Have we heard of the big news at RCR Austin Dillon alluded to earlier this season? I don't think we've heard it yet. Do you think the Cars Tour over penalizes? Says Dead End Viper. I don't have a problem with it, but they've got their rules, and their rules are pretty clear, and they've been pretty consistent with their rules. The only time I think they really over penalized something was a long time ago with the Brandon Setzer deal. I thought they went a little bit overboard on that one. If you remember the free Setzer shirts back in the day, those were pretty funny. American F1 driver Logan Sargent got fired. He made calls to a Cup team. Which one you think will pick up the call? A Cup team, maybe Trackhouse would kind of be interested in that. I could see RFK maybe be interesting in it. If you remember back in the day, here's why I say RFK. If you remember back in the day, his other brother drove in the Truck Series. And his uncle owns Performance Oil, I want to say is the name of the company. But he drove in the Truck Series, and he didn't make the playoffs in his rookie year. And I guess they had some type of agreement or arrangement. If he doesn't make the playoffs, his uncle was pulling grandfather would pull sponsorship. So they pulled sponsorship, and we've never heard from Dalton Sargent. Dalton Sargent was his brother. We never heard of Dalton Sargent again, so I don't know what happened with him. But Logan Sargent, the brother, the Performance Oil is what I wanted to get to with that. They have been on the Roush Fenway cars before. So that's why I say maybe he called up RFK, and maybe that would be the Cup team. I know it took me a long time to get there, but I think that might be the Cup team that he actually called up, would probably be RFK. I want KFB to win Darlington. I want the other Kyle to win the championship. Says David Garland. That would be pretty cool. I'd be good with that. Strong first names always. And, Kyle Weatherman, hopefully he can get a win. And Kyle Sieg, they can get a win down there in the Xfinity Series. Kyle Kirkwood in open wheel IndyCar. I feel the good story going into Daytona. Anyone that can win in the playoffs after the race. Wait, that's not right. Says like this. It's pretty much the same thing in the playoffs, though. So it is what it is. Sheldon Williams, Haas. Okay, so Haas, I didn't even think about that one, but yeah, Haas would be another one you could call up. I forgot RFK is a Ford, so they wouldn't want Zane. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Who's the most jacked up, strongest NASCAR driver? They probably drink muscle milk every day. Matt DiBenedetto, he likes to lift a whole lot, so he would be in there. Cup Series driver, probably Daniel Suarez for the Cup Series. Daniel Suarez is jacked. That dude works out a lot. When I saw him at North Wilkesboro, he literally looked like a freaking professional wrestler. Like his tries are gigantic. Like I wouldn't want to mess with him. And probably Xfinity Series, I would say Jeffrey Earnhardt. I don't think he works out traditionally. I just think Jeffrey Earnhardt is in really good shape, and Jeffrey Earnhardt has the MMA background. So those would probably be the three Probably best in shape or best weightlifters, I guess. I don't know. We had some underdog victories before, and you didn't need winning your in to make this story that great. Just look at Trevor Bain win, or Reagan Smith, or Paul Menard. Yeah, like anytime there's a underdog win, it's always going to be a great story, no matter what, with winning your in, or if we don't have winning your in. Will Carl Edwards be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame next year? Yeah, for sure. I think he's already. Didn't they already vote him in? If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I have to go back and look at that. You see 2311 letting Bubba go if he doesn't win next season? No way. He's got so many sponsors behind him, and he finished 10th in points last season. I don't see them letting him go. Let's see. As an F1 fan, Logan Sargent has wrecked more cars this year than I've ever seen. He has cost Williams millions of dollars. What are your expectations for Spire with Rodney taking over? I think Spiral will continue to grow and get better and better. You've seen them raise themselves up to a level this year. I think they'll keep building on that momentum next year. I said the same thing about Legacy and Petty GMS, and I was wrong this year, though. So you never know what actually will happen. I see Bubba Wallace to 2311 like HMS saw Dale Jr. in his drought. Even if he wrecked every week, he's going to do enough merch to keep his seat. I think it would be a cold day if Bubba got fired. And he's not running bad. Like that's the other thing. Like he finished 10th in points last season. So I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they would let him go. Newman was country fed too, says one wise guy. Yeah, Newman was a stout dude when he was driver for sure. I agree with David Garland. Let's see. It says OJ and toothpaste. Let's see. IMSA and was it VIR on Sunday as well? Yeah, I wanted to make some of that, but I couldn't quite get over there and check it out. Who do you think replaces LaJoy? Says Dead End Viper. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Justin Haley, but you never know till they actually announce it. What's up, Mark Langren? Good to see you on here. Who goes in the 7-car BB? I think it's going to be Justin Haley, but I don't know till we actually see it happen. I don't know. That's the rumor out there, but it would also and beyond the rumor, and I trust where I heard the rumor from. Beyond that, it just makes sense why Corey LaJoy threw that shade on Justin Haley's win. Remember when all that was going on and Corey LaJoy threw the shade on Justin Haley's win, and that was so random? Like now that would make more sense because Justin Haley's going in the 7-car. So I'm pretty confident it's going to be Justin Haley, but if I'm wrong, it won't be the first time in my life I've been wrong. Probably won't be the last. Let's see. While I'm excited for Mexico City next year, Cup cars will ruin the show. Xfinity race will be the highlight, says Chrome. Sometimes that's the way it goes. I've heard a lot of other drivers say Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was most like a gladiator in the Cup Series. Race Hub did a segment on it last year. Yeah, he works out all the time too. So he's got, I think they call it the Slide Job Ranch or something like that. But it's him, Casey Kane, and somebody else. Somebody else goes over there and works out with them. So they're definitely in good shape too. Casey Kane was always in great shape as well. Not a lot of people remember that. Do you like Jungle Juice? Says OJ and toothpaste. Dude, Jungle Juice back in the day, that was a middle school classic, dude. Everybody liked that stuff. Rockingham is going to sell out for Xfinity next year. I don't know, man. I hope they do, but I don't know. It's hard to sell out Xfinity, but if anybody can do it, it would be Rockingham's first race back. I hope they do. 100% hope they do. The 88 should have been retired, says Mark Langren. I don't know, man. Like, would you retire it? Dale Jarrett won what, 2 championships with the 88? Dale Jr. has gave the thumbs up to race the 88. I don't know. You can't retire numbers, so I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that one. In fact, I know I don't. I totally disagree with it because I disagree with Jr. when he was like the number 3 should only be driven by Earnhardt. He doesn't like Austin Dillon running it. Like I don't get on board with the number thing. And here's why I don't get on board with the number thing. I think you should run the number, and you should run the number in the font that it's most famous with, because eventually we will all be gone. Right? We will all be gone. But as long as you run that number with that font, historians and people that are here beyond us will always say, hey, you know why that 3 looks like that? Because there used to be a guy that drove that 3, and his name was Dale Earnhardt. And then you learn the story about Dale Earnhardt. Same thing with Richard Petty. You look at that 43, and they're like, how come that guy runs that number? You know, maybe that kid's favorite driver is that. And his dad will be like, hey, well, look at this history book right here. Or they'll probably be on tablets at this point or whatever. Like, maybe neuralinked into your brain. However, they'll do it in the future when we're all gone. But that'll be like the thing to do, right? So to me, that's why you always keep the number and in the font of the most famous person that ever drove it. Or maybe that's the reason the throwback races are good too, right? So uh, I don't know. I stand on the opposite end of that because I feel like that's how you keep history alive is by keeping the numbers and stuff like that going. But certainly, a lot of people disagree with me on that. Let's see. The ECHL team says Nathan Campbell. Did you see what Spider is using as a sponsor? Says Nathan Campbell, the ECHL team. I haven't seen that. Let's see. Do you think Brandon Jones is willingly leaving JRM for Gibbs? I don't know if he is or would, but I don't know. That would be up to him. It depends on how he felt like the Gibbs deal went down. So I don't know. Kyle Busch buys into RCR and drives till 2030, says Jamie Schweitzer. Stranger things have happened. Did you see the NASCAR video from Urinating Tree? I haven't seen it yet. Rockingham should replace Coda. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Mm, that's a tough call. I feel like you're going to get more fans at Coda than Rockingham. But I could be wrong on that. Larson said his money was on Stenhouse in a fight with Bush because he said Ricky just doesn't quit. He quit pretty quick when that big boy put him on the ground, though. Did he not? So I don't know. I don't know about all that. I think he just wanted to run over there and hit Kyle Busch once, and then he was hoping it would be over. Then he saw his dad was involved and was like, "Oh man, this went sideways on me bad." So I think that's basically what went down with that. I don't think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ever intended to fully fight. I think he just wanted to throw a sucker punch, and he knew that was going to be it. That's the way I saw it, but that's just me. Let's see. It didn't look like Kyle Busch planned on stopping once he got going. So of that analysis, watching the actual fight, the one who didn't feel like I felt like wasn't going to stop was probably Kyle Busch. Let's see. Dead End Viper for Cup. What track has the worst attendance? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Probably Richmond, and that's probably why they lost the race. Sounds like Junior is getting the NBC crew together for Amazon broadcast. Contracts are ending. That would make sense. Will Yates ever release the 28? Nope, they won't. And that's the exact reason I'm like, man, I really wish they would release some of these numbers because the longer the 28's not on the track, the more chance there will be that people will forget about Davey Allison when basically my generation moves on. Because I don't think the younger generation has even heard of Davey Allison. Just to be totally honest. So when my generation moves on to the next world, next realm, whatever it is, or to the nothingness, whatever happens, does anybody remember the 28? But they will remember the 3 and the 43 because they're here and we're still talking about them. So that's my argument on that. And I know people have the opposite argument. That's what Hall of Fames are for, would be the counter argument to that. Don't take don't take Jeff Burton to Amazon. Someone who said that says OJ and Toothpaste. I never was a Earnhardt fan, but find myself pulling for Jeffrey whenever he is racing. Jeffrey's a pretty cool cat. Interesting dude. Going through a tough time right now. Lost his Lizzie Mussey, who he was dating. He lost her, and that's unfortunate. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. Even though I'm an Amazon Prime member, all the third party races won't be watched. Says Mark Langren. So you're still boycotting. I got you. Nothing been said about Jeff. LOL. Says one wise guy. Funny how the commentators were praising NASCAR on the McDowell crash, and then Barry said, "Hold my beer." 10 minutes later, yeah, there's a pretty good meme about Steve Letarte going on right now about that particular situation. Creed said he didn't have enough money to stay at Joe Gibbs Racing, so Brandon Jones is going to have to pay big money. Yeah, he can pay big money because I don't know if you've seen the side of his car. Brandon Jones probably has more sponsors than anybody on the circuit. Cup or truck or Xfinity. Harvick is on part of the hockey team. Oh, I did see where he bought into the hockey team, so that's pretty cool. Disappointing Rowdy did not make a return to JGR. The Gibbs still has the 18 charter. I think coach is holding out. Agree to disagree, says Mark Langren. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All good. Stuart Haas was structured as 2 companies within one, which seems to be the cause of their demise. I mean, it could be. It could be. It was a merger and not like a full integrated company. Let's see. Next generation has no idea, says one wise guy. I like to see them one on one. I don't think Kyle said he could take the 8 Jackman. I think Ricky backed himself into a corner when he made his. I 100% agree with you, Dirty Duff. 100% agree with you. 28 was also Ernie Irvin's number. He would have rivaled Earnhardt for 94 championship if it wasn't for the injury, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, but they did a little bit of a font tweak for the Ernie Irvin 28, and the same thing for Ricky Rudd when he drove it. It had more of a, they called Davey Allison's the bubblegum 28 because it was really round. It was a more angular, sort of Chip Ganassi looking font for the Ernie Irvin, and even Dale Jarrett drove the. I think Dale Jarrett filled in for him as well, and then Dale Jarrett eventually got the 88, and the 88 was in that similar font as well, but it was a more angular Chip Ganassi looking font with no border than the 28 for Davey Allison, which was just more rounded. No, I love Rockingham, but Coda needs to stay, says Mark Langren. Yeah, I agree with that. Let me say this, Kyle Petty to the booth. Let's see. I would love Kyle Petty to be on the booth somewhere. Maybe it happens one day. Darrell Waltrip and Donnie Allison also drove the 88. Yeah, Darrell Waltrip, that's another iconic one. He drove the Gatorade and the Mountain Dew 88, if I'm not mistaken. I know for sure Gatorade 88 because I didn't know who drove it, but I had like a little Earthel diecast, a little small one when I was a little kid. I remember that one, and I had a Valvoline 27 that like Neil Bonnet and maybe Cale Yarborough drove as well. I had a few of those. What was the other one? I had a 15 Wrangler, and that was definitely Earnhardt because that was the only one that pulled back. So I know my dad bought me that one. But the other two, I had no idea who drove them. The 27 was either like Neil Bonnet or Cale Yarborough. I can't remember. They didn't have the name on the roof, and those cars cycled through a few different drivers at that and during that era. Since Robert Yates passed away in 2017, does the 28 font automatically allowed to be used again, says Chrome Diesel? Well, that would be whoever owns the licensing rights to it. It would be that sort of that same font issue they had with the 8. So you would have to get into the legal on that one. BB is Everclear, the most potent drink, says OJ and Toothpaste. It was back in the day. For certain regions, they've scaled it back to 151. It used to be 190 proof, and we made PJ Punch with it, which is Purple Jesus. For those unawares, the fruit at the bottom was the most dangerous, and we'll leave it at that. Do things responsibly. Don't be a dummy as a kid or an adult. BB, did you see my new license plate coming? Yoda 54. I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to jump on the Discord. No disrespect to Dale Jr., but when I think of the 88, I think Jarrett and the quality care car, says Say Kyle. I'm in the same boat. So when I think of Dale Jr., I think of the 8 Budweiser car because he had his best years with the 8 Budweiser car. And just for whatever reason, that's the car I always associate with Junior. When I think of 88, I think of Dale Jarrett. And sometimes I think of the Gatorade car just because I thought that was the coolest looking car back in the day, other than Richard Petty's car. Richard Petty's car was the original, like just really cool car. The highlighter orange and the Petty blue. But I thought that Gatorade car was a really good looking car back in the day as well. So yeah, I don't even. Dale Jr. I know he drove it for the end of his career. Dale Jr. in the 88 doesn't even register with me. The only time I even remember Dale Jr. really in the 88 car is the USA looking 88 win at like Martinsville maybe, and then the throwback to the Gray Ghost of Buddy Baker, who also I guess drove the 88. Those are the two that stick out in my mind with Dale Jr. in the 88. Otherwise, when I'm thinking of Dale Jr., I'm thinking about the 8 car 100% of the time. So but that's just me. Everybody remembers things differently. Kyle Petty needs to stay home, says Ben Kluber. Thanks for alive tonight, BB. Everyone, have a great night, says Jamie Schweitzer. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Jamie. Do you think Chip Ganassi comes back to NASCAR, and what manufacturer, says Nathan Campbell? I have no idea, man. Chip Ganassi is his own cat. Kenny Wallace, Dale Jarrett, Lake Speed all filled in for Davey Allison and Ernie Irvin. Ricky Rudd and Darrell Waltrip drove the Gatorade 88 for Dygard. Ricky Rudd was the other one that drove the 88. I couldn't remember, but appreciate you there, Dirty Diff, hooking it up there. What up, BB? Just made it home. What's up, David McSwain? Hope you're doing good. Glad you're home safe. BB, do you watch the show Cops, Bad Boys? What you gonna do? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, I used to watch that back in the day when it came on. They have, I guess they had a newer one called Live PD or something like that. So that's, I guess that was the newer version of it. I don't know if they got anything anymore. I don't know if those shows track like they used to track, but they used to be one of those, hey, look at that dummy getting arrested type stuff, because it would always be some guy that had no business being out in public because he was doing something crazy. And I don't know, it was just you hate to laugh at them, but they put themselves in that situation. So it's just one of them things. Waltrip drove the Gatorade 88, then went to Mountain Dew 11. Jeff Bodine then drove the 88 Gatorade for a short time. I was okay, so there you go. I need to look at. I'm sure Brock Beard's got one on it. The history of Diegard. I'm sure. I think maybe Stapleton did one too. I need to go check one of those out. BB, what scheme was because that's just like a little bit before I can start remembering stuff. Like I remember the cars, but I don't remember anything about them other than just what the cars look like. BB, what scheme was better, the Hooter 7 or the favorite 28? The 28, 28 all day. 28, that 28 Haviland, one of the best looking cars of all time. There's like four cars. Richard Petty's 43 with the day glow on it, with the day glow orange on it, or day glow red. That's one of them. Dale Earnhardt's number 3, Goodwrench. Although I prefer the Wrangler car, but the Goodwrench number 3 is more iconic to most people. Davey Allison's number 28 Haviland is the other one, and then for a lot of people, it's going to be Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon would be the other one in there, and then there's some other ones you can put in there as well. Kyle Petty's mellow yellow car. Those would probably be like my 5 that probably everybody has. It might not be the same top 5, but I would say the majority of people have those 5 cars in their top 5. And then they will have some other ones. Probably Cale Yarborough's Coca-Cola, where it was gold and red. I think a lot of people, that's probably been the most redone car at Darlington, the red and gold Coca-Cola car. So I think you would probably have to throw that one in there as well. But yeah, and then well, I guess it depends on which Jeff Gordon you remember. Either the Jeff Gordon Flames or the Jeff Gordon Rainbow. To me, the Jeff Gordon, and we've done the poll on here before, and it always comes out 50-50. So no need to do it again. But the Jeff Gordon Rainbow to me is always more iconic and what I think of when I think of Jeff Gordon. But the Jeff Gordon Flames, younger than those cars would be in most everybody's top 5. Haviland 28, you're right. The 28 was driven, says Mark Langren. BB, my thumbs up and toes up. Thank you, says Crystal. No problem, Crystal. Glad to have you on here as always. Will AM Racing be the best Xfinity team next year? Maybe on Earth too, brother. Live PD is now called Patrol Live. Okay, so they changed it to Patrol Live. So yeah, I hadn't seen it in a while. The National Guard paint scheme 88. I remember, yeah, that was the one he won at Martinsville with. For sure, where it had like a little bit of gold trim to it. No, Everclear is the most potent legal one, says Mark Langren. Okay, so there you go. It's Everclear. Let's see today. So maybe Everclear is 200 proof. I think 190 on the other one. Let's see. Today's plate racing has more luck involved. Plate racing before the 2010s. Yeah, I would say you're probably right about that. Craziest Cops episode you ever watched or have seen live before your eyes. My buddy, I don't remember the craziest one, but my buddy was on one of the, he was the cop in the episode, not the assailant, but one of my buddies was in it. So probably the episode he was in it. And his episode wasn't anything crazy. It was just cool to see somebody on TV. Reels plays the show Cops. Let's see, 151 and Diet Dr. Pepper when I was young. 18 says Mark Langren. What is it? What is it? 151 and a beer and then flaming Dr. Pepper. It tastes like Dr. Pepper when you shoot it down. That's a popular one. I had a family member working for Chip during the Rolex. One of them I asked who's in the lead, and one of the temps said they said chicken butt racing. True story. That's what we call CGR now. So that's pretty funny. Toothpaste, how can you take a joke of a team to get to the top? He's talking about on Earth too. One wise guy, Mark, he's talking about Earth too. One wise guy, you are correct. Jeff Gordon, Baby Ruth is pretty common. Yeah, a few people have done that one for sure. Do you think the Camaro is maxed out? I think. Oh yeah. They're getting everything they can get out of the Camaro. They need a new body style and they need it soon. I think it's really going to show next year. I think they're going to be really in trouble next season. 100%. Let's see. Parker Retzlaff and Harrison Burton, Earth 2 style, that final lap. Yeah, that would have been it would have been interesting. For a minute, I thought it was actually going to happen because the low line had such a bad push, but Kyle Busch was able to at least get back to him at some point and make it kind of interesting at the end. Yeah, Bobby Allison Gold 12 in red coat car was my favorite when I was a kid in the late 60s. Indeed, indeed. I'm surprised nobody's maybe they have, but I can't remember it. Maybe Kurt Busch did it, but I can't remember. I'm surprised nobody has done the Hawaiian Tropic car yet. Like that was another you said Bobby Allison. It reminded me of Donnie Allison. I'm surprised nobody's done the old Hawaiian Tropic car. Daryl's Western Auto 17 paint scheme. Many people did a throwback for it. Yeah, for sure. I think that was the year he was going into the Hall of Fame. I think a lot of people did a DW throwback. I think Buddy Baker drove the 28 Grey Ghost, not the 88. You might be right. Buddy Baker's might have been 28, but I know Buddy Baker did drive an 88 at one point. But yeah, I think you are right. I think the Grey Ghost was actually number 28. So I think you are 100% right about that. Let's see. What's up, Thunder? Glad to have you on here as well. Can't drink Fireball anymore. Very bad hangovers and Ralph's, says OJ and Toothpaste. You had hangovers at Ralph's or hangovers with Ralph's? I guess that's the question. Looking to run my DE card out east. So what short tracks do you regularly attend? South Boston and Ace Speedway would probably be the most attended ones. Occasionally I go to Orange County, but it's against my will, and that's not the track situation. That's a management situation there. Buddy Baker's, and sometimes we go to Hickory. Buddy Baker's Cristobal car. But if you really want to go, Mark Langren, if you want to come to the East Coast, I think the track you'll like the most is one called Dominion. They have a road course around the short track, and I think that would probably be right up your alley. So you definitely need to check that one out if you make your way out here. Buddy Baker's Crisco car was 88, I think, says Delmar Kaufman. Yeah, I think so. The old Crisco car. I think somebody did a throwback to that. I can't remember who it was though. Peace out, BB. Love the show. Thanks, Dirty Death. Thanks for hanging out with us. My dad was an Ernie Irvin fan when he raced in the 28. NASCAR is consistent on being inconsistent forever. It's their playground for sure, David. For sure, no doubt about it. Your top 3 craziest finishes in the past 20 years. Oh, the Austin Dillon one has to be up there at this point, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. I have to sit down and think about that one. With Chevy no longer making sedans, when do we see Cadillac or the Corvette replace the ZR1? I don't think that'll happen. Chevrolet's already said that they're going to bring the Camaro back, so they'll run probably some version of that. But what you're saying is, there is a chance they take a Cadillac or Corvette platform, because remember Corvette is going to make a 4-door car according to GM at some point. I could see a situation where Chevrolet takes that platform and uses it as a Chevrolet in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think it'll ever be badged as a Corvette or a Cadillac, because not in my opinion, but in Chevrolet's and General Motors' opinion, it's a different demographic you're advertising to. IMSA is what you would advertise Cadillac and Corvette to, because it's upscale fans, and NASCAR you advertise blue collar cars, which is what a Chevrolet or a Buick would be. So I think you're not going to see a Cadillac or a Corvette come into the Cup Series. That's just my rationale on it. I could be 100% wrong. You never know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just giving you my thoughts on the matter. Let's see. Everclear is either 190 or 191. Says Mark. Ralph's equals puking. Says OJ and Toothpaste. I knew what you were getting at. I was just joking with you. Ralph and at Ralph's. I know what you're doing. I see you, OJ. I see you out there on the West Coast. I got eyes. I'm everywhere. Let's see. I count your eyelashes when you sleep. Wood Brothers scheme hasn't changed, even though sometimes Dex Imaging Colors says in between the lanes. Yeah, that was probably, and I hate to say it because, like, shout out to Dex Imaging for sponsoring Harrison Burton. But my only really disappointing part about Daytona was he won it with the Dex Imaging 21, and I really wished it was the Motorcraft 21. That was like my only. I was like, dang, man, it would have been cool if he won with the gold letters and the red roof. Like that would have been cooler. But hey, a Wood Brothers win is always cool. I'm not gonna nitpick it. BB, you make my Tuesday night. You're the nicest YouTube host I watch, says Bruce Garvey. I appreciate you, Bruce Garvey. I do my best, and thank y'all for hanging out. Y'all make the channel fun to keep doing. Who do you think is the modern day Tim Richmond, or does that type of personality even exist in modern day NASCAR? I think 100% it's Noah Gragson. So that would be my guess there. They'll probably run the Malibu, just to make everyone mad. So say Kyle. They said they're discontinuing that too. So apparently that's the end for the Malibu. So that's going to be it. Did you pre-order Burton's diecast? I know I asked you before. I actually didn't in between the lanes because funny story. Literally the week before that happened, they had the regular Harrison Burton 21 diecast on sale, and I don't have like a current modern Wood Brothers. I don't have any Wood Brothers car with the gold number, I guess I should say. I have a Dale Jarrett 21 Wood Brothers Sitco car. So I bought the Harrison Burton car, and literally the week I bought the Harrison Burton car, because it's on sale for like $25, so I bought it. Like I was like, you're not gonna beat that deal. So like as soon as I bought it, he wins the race, and I'm like, of course, of course. So I'm not gonna get it, even though it's really cool. But if I hadn't just bought one, I probably would have. Dominion, I will check it out. Do you know who runs the events? I think you're gonna get in contact with a guy named Richard Storm. I think Storm still runs the deal up there, so that'll probably be who you need to call and get the rules from. Super fast track. So if you're running the oval, it's a super high bank, super fast track. But the road course on the outside of it, that is the road course is where it's at, my man. Like that's it's pretty cool. Like both of them are where it's at. It's one of the nicest facilities out there. In between lanes, perfect time and BB, LOL. I got to bounce. Appreciate the time, BB. Y'all have a good night, everyone. And I'm going to do the same. Looks like we've reached the end of it. Buy some Kyle Larson cars. I've got some. Noah at Richmond. It's got to be Reddick. I did the throwback earlier this season with the mustache to boot. Indeed. Mark Langer saying, where's B? I don't know where B's at. She's probably got prior obligations, and it's all good. All right. Reached the end of the chat. Final poll question. 48% saying no, and 43% saying yes, and 10% saying, hey, NASCAR's got a playoff system. That's news to me. All right. That's it for this one. I'll check you guys on the next one. And until then, peace.